Alright, boys, let's do this. Applied Materials here reported some earnings just a little bit ago, right? Stock's down 1.8%, but let's not forget it did rise up a solid 5.7% during the normal trading session, so there is something to consider about that. Let's take a look at these earnings and see what we have going on. So Applied Materials here posted a non-GAAP EPS of 89 cents, which was in line with estimates, and a GAAP EPS of 82 cents, which missed by 2 cents. Nothing massive there, pretty well in line. Revenue of $3.96 billion, which is a 12% increase year over year. Saw a miss by 20 million, so relatively just completely met inline estimates on that one as well. Very nice to see there. So gross margin, you see, was 44.6 versus 43.5 a year ago, so positive numbers on that aspect. Good growth in gross margin, and operating income was 932 million. So let's get into some of these specifics as we like to do. So Applied Materials fell after reporting revenue miss and inline EPS. Debatable on the revenue miss. I mean, it's pretty well in line. The company unusually didn't provide a business outlook, which is likely where you're going to see the reason that the stock's down. This is a company that's very consistent about giving an outlook, and as with a lot of companies, they didn't give an outlook because it's really hard to tell how long their business will get impacted. So it's completely understandable that there won't be any guidance given out originally. Semiconductor system sales were up 18% year over year to 2.6 billion. Applied Global Services grew from last year's 984 million to 1 billion, and Display increased from 348 to 368 million, or 365 million, I should say. Management comments here: while the situation remains fluid, based on the visibility we have today, our supply chain is recovering and underlying demand for our semiconductor equipment and services remain robust. So those are positive words. Of course they're going to say positive words because it's, they run the company. They're trying to sell the stock to people. So what can I say? So Applied Materials, let's take a look at their press release on this aspect. Take a look at some of this good stuff. See if we can find it. So I know there's good stuff to find as we already rock into these charts. You see from net sales perspective, they'll show you quarter over quarter here, or year over year, a 12% growth. Gross margin saw a 1 basis point growth. Operating margin 1.7 points. Net income rose 13% year over year. Pretty good on that aspect. You like to see $755 million coming home. You do like to see that. And EPS actually rose year over year, which is pretty big because this is a time in which a lot of companies are actually showing a decrease in EPS year over year. So pretty good, all things considered, for Applied Materials stock to post a good number on that EPS standpoint. So definitely not bad at all. As far as the semiconductor systems are concerned, as a percentage of revenue, they're pretty similar to what you saw the same quarter of last year. 56% being made out of foundry logic and other. DRAM made up 22%. Flash memory made up 22% as well. So you see overall a 2.5 billion number versus a 2.1 billion number of last year. Good increase there. And the operating income from this segment was good as well. The operating margin grew quite a little bit. Very nice. From Applied Global Services, you see that growth there. Not that much growth, but there is positive growth. Operating income declined a little bit because operating margin fell a little bit as well. And from Display and adjacent markets, you saw a very slight increase as well, as operating income grew too, because you saw a pretty good increase in operating margin in this segment. That was a very nice net crack, and I hope you enjoyed it. So things obviously look decent for this company. Semiconductors are kind of on the rebound right now. If you look at the history of this stock, I mean, year to date, this is still one that's been hit pretty hard. Still down 12.4%, which I think is a little bit unfairly maligned, in my opinion. One that I think deserves a little bit more credit. If you're looking, a year out, this thing's still doing well. but up 30% over the year. But I think this decline that they saw this year was a little bit unfair for a company like this. I think their demand's still pretty good, and they're showing good EPS numbers too. So the valuation is not insane on this stock. It's pretty fair, all things considered. Pretty fairly valued. We'll look at this balance sheet and then go on to the next one. So we're going to be looking on the left-hand column. Cash and cash equivalents grew quite a bit, $5.2 billion versus $3.1 billion. If we're talking 6 months ago, total current assets grew $2.5 billion from 6 months ago to $12.7 billion now. Not bad. Total assets in general of $21.8 billion versus $19 billion 6 months ago. Very nice. Total current liabilities of 4.7 and total liabilities in general of 12.7 billion. So overall you see a $9 billion difference there for stockholder equity. So pretty nice, all things considered. It's a pretty good looking balance sheet for this company. Applied Materials is a decent company to get involved in. They pay a consistent dividend as well. It's one that I've always been interested in adding a position to, but I kind of already hold a couple different chip stocks right now. In my opinion, if you're getting in the chip game, you're going to be investing in either Micron, Nvidia, or AMD, in my opinion. I think those are the top tiers, but I think Applied Materials is definitely a decent just core holding pick. I don't think you'll be upset if you have it, but they're definitely a decent company, all things considered, and I think the valuation's not absurd with this company either, so might be one to take a look at. If it shoots around, right around the $50 range, it's probably worth a good pickup, in my opinion, with a very fair valuation, so hope you enjoyed.